ฟ้าก็ฟ้า
Be
เดียว
split
กัน
name of the game here, and there are 3 members of
แต่
Nongshim.
จันทร์ดูคล้าย
The
ลำเอี
Reckoning
ย
and the Armageddon are on
ง
the other side of the map.
ส่อง
They are
แส
not going to reach
ง
towards
ล
that
ง
B
มา
side.
เพียงเสี้ยวสำหรับผู้ชมที่ชมอยู่ตอนนี้นะครับอย่าลืมกดไลค์กด Subscribe Channel ให้ด้วยนะครับและติดตามการสตรีมของผมได้ที่ sooflight.com ครับลิงก์อยู่ด้านล่างครับเป็นไงไอ้เหี้ยมันสำคัญนะครับพลังบวกอ่ะ2-0 ป่ะเอาจริงป่ะลาก่อนเว้ยปั๊ด
And it's so cool to see him get this opportunity again. He has been grinding for something like this.
Playing under such a reliable champion IGL. It'll be Penny and Nats over here on the B side early. Nats has a feel for this timing, so going to cut off access to that far side of yellow. But Aspas has already dug Nats out. It's an IGL down. And behind this controller, Util, they're going to go for a plant, but Penny tries to stand his ground. He's overrun Kiko at least through the
เอาเกโก้แม่งเจอเกโก้ยิง
Team Liquid a real staging ground for a retake. Aspas will be allowed to plant.
และอัดปัดได้ปืนเก่งมาเด็ปืนเก่งอัดปัดนี่เจอปาตีเต็กล่วงไปเลย
In that instance, and Chenom, one of the quietest rookies on this MIBR squad in their debut here in Toronto,
เฮ้ย
has to solve this problem. Camo's waiting for him to come around the corner. That's an anti-eco converted for Liquid.
Listen, that is, of course, just an eco run from MIBR,
อัด
but
ปัดสไนฝั่ง
I'd
การ
like to
ชิว
see,
ชิว
and
เอาอี
perhaps
ก
I
แล้ว
don't
ชิ
want
ว
to
ชิ
read
ว
this as an early indicator, oversell it, but I like that they've scaled into that site together so fast. Artson was getting really proactive, swinging deep so people could trade off of him. Again, early days, but I do find that juxtaposed to the game against Gen G, where they were slow to go for trades, so fearful to swing for each other.
Penny is taking a very sort of conservative approach to this round, perhaps wanting to get that op in hand as soon as possible, get rolling on this defense side. Orb denied here by the snake bite, so Team Liquid have to respect it. Aspas has already started to inch forward in the jail direction.
That's your very standard util early. There we go from Cortezia. Patek punished for the jump up, and now Joan going to get additional info towards the site. Would love to force Camo off this angle with the outlaw.
Camo giving another option just to fall off those op lines. Outlaw in hand in this round though. Snakebite here to try and canvas the point, but it's Camo down already. It's the Outlaw. Now the game, Cove thrown up by Kiko, hoping to make some use of it, but Aspas is ready to fight him in this
อัดปัด
Team
แสดงว่าเพนนีมีของดี
all their good guns.
ให้ใช้ไม่งั้นไม่เปลี่ยนคนเล่นหรอกก็อาจจะแค่ป่วยแหละมั้งคิดมากนะ
So much success on this Icebox map.
ไอ้เหี้ยของดีไอ้ซีเรียลก็ดีพิสูจน์มาแล้วพาเข้าได้ถึงขนาดนี้
Emergence from the Cove, but all things considered a pretty clean
ซีเรียล
play
อ่ะ
against the bonus round by MIBR.
In addition to the round win, that's going to get Artson just one orb away from a very early reckoning, which could be absolutely pivotal. Winning against Team Liquid, who are about to be on their first buy. Send him on to the
We saw BLG's Rushia on this exact map not long ago. Being able
เอาแล้ว
to together in one half.
already look at this. The energy is different for MIBR right now. Standing up is Artson, their IGL, having a lot more life than he did against Gen G.
He felt like he was countered entirely by that Gen G roster. Could not show what he was capable of either. It's a clean slate. It's a new day for MIBR. And of course, survival here in Toronto is on the line. Can't afford to make any more mistakes.
There it is, behind
โอ้ย
that high
ไอ้
tide.
เหี้ยแม่งแดนออกไปเลย
Safely drone going deep. Penny wants to entrench inside. Doubled up with pad attack. Here comes that ultimate.
Aspas goes up to 410 as well, looking for a bit of an angle around, but Penny dealt with Cortezia pretty comfortably. Through the wall, wrap around the corner, it's going to be Verno.
อุ้ยเย็ด
Have a crossfire.
เอาแล้วไง
Clinical deconstruction of Liquid's defense here. Camo's on the outside looking in, and he'll be pursued by young Verno.
เฮ้ยลิควิดมันเปลี่ยนคอมเล่นด้วยป่ะเนี่ย
That is a Team Liquid.
ก่อนนี้มันเป็น3ไอ้นี่ป่ะ 3 controller ป่ะ
Players if they can, but Penny so much that they've got him on the duelist on his primary role over Camo right now.
Frees up Camo to play the more aggressive, sort of util-focused agents. Just like in theory, the chamber. But MIBR, look at how they dissect, break up this A side. Yes, it's against Germs and Pistols, but we saw that in the gun round as well. Keiko lit up there. all too easy. This one should pass to that event. Nat's hoping for something on the backside here. Cortezia, one of the highest rated players in Americas after his first couple of weeks of play. This guy can shoot heads.
His headshot percentage is
ปาด
always
พลาดช็อตแบบ
outrageous.
นั้นไม่ได้นะ
That's
ปา
what
ด
people were looking at when he was coming into Americas for the first time this year. He is never getting spray kills, always tapping players down. But Team Liquid on this round, they're going to have some quality ultimates to potentially play for the retake with that Hunter's Fury, Reckoning being one orb away. MIBR are so good at slamming this A site. Their executes are world class, as good as it gets. Anchoring is an absolute nightmare. So Team Liquid could certainly just want to get out and wait for that spike to be tapped, then get back in with this, Hunter's Fury, disrupt the plant.
Aspas has an encounter with Penny earlier there. The latter sort of respects it, ducks out of the range of those knives, and Shannon has already managed to get so far forward. And bear in mind, not a killjoy setup for Liquid, so they can't just stick a turret here and watch for this push-up kitchen. This could be a problem for the defenders.
อุ้ยแล้วไหลมาแล้วไหลเชี่ยว
And MIBR are going to peel away
โอ้
from that.
คอมไม่ค่อยดีเอ้ยฮะ
Way up here, but Nats, he
ไอ้เหี้ย
can't
แนท
get him. Will he expect Cortezia though, who is also worked up too? Double lurk going through. Oh, timing just a bit off.
Spotted out. This hasn't really dissuaded MIBR from drifting over in the B direction to play behind his Viper wall.
Team Liquid, however, they are aware the wall is going to come up. Recon clears out back. Yellow he's safe to move forward. High tide there, rather, is going to cut things off. Hunter's Fury disrupting.
And counter and Chu definitely brewing. Without the Viper, of course, MIBR can still make use of the harbor wall to get in here. Kiko is down. Nats fighting in the side. Glancing blow from that blade storm. Still wants to challenge Aspas and rips him a new one. Huddersfield a little on the lower side as Penny's been out of Verno out of formation.
แนทบอกกูไม่หมู่แนทฟาด
Down to the youngsters. That's Cortezia in a 1 versus 4. Panatek spotted playing out in the open. Penny has the spacing to swing off of it. And
เนี่ย
TL
แนทเอาเลย
keep
ว่ะ
this one at a simmer. Early encounter over at A. With the play up mid for
Hey.
MIBR to play off, there's just such insane game sense there for Nats to go
นิดหน่อยมีอาการนิดหน่อย
That's well done by him to get this opening.
แค่ปิดสตรีมก็หายแล้ว
Exactly as you want to be using it on this map, disrupting when the spike was going down. The players had already been rotating towards B. Gives opportunity to find kills. And Cortezia at the end can only isolate one. Has to swing
พัก
into.
ผ่อนไงเฮียมันนอนดึกหลายคืนแล้ววันนี้ตื่นเช้าโถ
Obviously, their economy
มันก็ต้องมีอาการกันบ้างครับ
a number of near flawless rounds in a row before that prior.
มีภูมิตกกันบ้าง
A reckoning to try and keep this momentum going. Break the Team Liquid economy. Verno one tag.
And attack in danger. Verno converts it. That had to be a rendezvous there from Camo up to Rafter. He's able to avoid that third shot of damage, but now the reckoning comes in because Artisan's had them rolling, and that's forced TL out of the site.
This site should be taken for free. This spike should be going down for free, and then they have the lockdown after the fact. Counter reckoning. Team Liquid, they want to go in fast at the moment, but they're denied by that Molly temporarily.
They respect it. Now going to make the win.
อะไรวะเนี่ย
Does MIBR
เหี้ย
they're going to keep moving. Aspas just can't connect the shot as Artisan on
แม่พลังแห่งน้
Nats will show himself in theory. Just in time, Artisan can connect. Verno and Shedham now. Have to lock it down. Camo low in the back corner. And it's on Verno. Newest addition to MIBR. Keiko got it to half. One bullet in the chamber. It's
ำโอ้
Keiko able to finish him off.
เหลือนัดเดียวฮะกะวันแถบละแดดครับนัดเดียว
Damn close.
ลืมไปไม่มีแดด
One bullet tap. Barely for TL. I like the haste that they were able to get back into the site with the reckoning. And
ไม่มัน
using it
มันเหลือ
at
นัด
the
เดียว
right time. These ultimates to flood and disrupt rather than trying to
ไอ้นัก
anchor
พากย์นี่
against
ตาไว
the
นะ
tsunami of utility that MIBR
นักพากย์มันเห็นด้วยนะว่ากระสุนเหลือนัดเดียวอ่ะ
I believe Cortezia just got entrenched pretty deep in the site there. There was a multi-kill from Camo off that drop down. So there wasn't a real opportunity to get the lockdown in on the post plan.
But the retakes look interesting for TL because they don't have flashes in this comp. The reckoning is a great way to get in, unsettle the team currently holding the site, but after that you've got a contact.
Yeah, and they're basically going to have to hope that the cascades coming out from their harbor will cover up the angles. That'll allow them to get out without having to flash through. MIBR, 5-stack today again. They just love hitting this site, and why not? They are very good at it, and they've got the lockdown to free things up. What a shot from Kiko.
และเสียหัวหอกอย่างอาร์สปาร์ตไปด้วยฮะ
And MIBR, well, they've got the lockdown in. That's fine. Once more, TL respect it. Looking to retake now with a player advantage. Flashes or no, they're going to be favored.
Unique plant spot from Artzin. Doesn't actually have to use the code for any level of safety.
มึงไปที่ไหนเนี่ยอีดอกทอง
Shenham, who's playing so far forward.
MIBR หรือ Liquid เนี่ย
Covered off the push into screens. Here comes a Viper's Pit from the back of the site. In theory, to give TL the way in. But Artzin, he has got Camo dead to rights.
อุ้ยเหี้ยหมดเลย
Able to find him, and Kiko now needs to find a timing to get out of this pit, but it has been rough. You can see TL don't necessarily have the tools to break in now without the reckoning.
MIBR desperately needed this Shenham. He couldn't get anything started against Gen G, was not able to win out duels, but here in that pressed up position, being supported by additional utility from his Harbor IGL, capitalizes. That's just a great multi-kill. You have Cortesia aware of that flank, had a read on pay right there, catches him out with a lovely headshot too. This is the rookies of MIBR hitting mechanically. We knew they could. Were they going to under the pressure, under the bright lights, and so far they're stepping up.
Whatever's happened in the last couple of days has allowed MIBR to be more themselves here. TL, a Viper's Pit to try and get into that A side was uncomfortable. Now already they're looking to stack this B side. They've been knocked down to just a hero rifle for Kiko. Cascade up to give MIBR a little bit of a base of operations on the B side, but they're not convinced.
Team Liquid have got 4 players here, plus
ตอน
Kiko
นี้มุมแข่งว่าโลใครเป็น IGL
down mid.
โอ้
MIBR, they are pretty straightforward when it comes to this attack cap, so why not stack? Instantly
Well,
broken.
don't be
Obviously, Team Liquid not the
Be
great
shut
players.
up.
Spam through.
And they're inside the side. This is exactly what MIBR
Yeah, well,
wanted.
no.
Trap them in with a high tide. Reckoning for Kiko. No plant yet. 48 seconds in the round. Though Pen's going to drop down and get the better of Verno. Kiko.
สวย
It's good.
โอ้ MIBR
Masterclass thrifty here for TL. Behind that reckoning. It's an ultimate that's really dictated this game so far.
แม่งเอาให้เลย
That's flattening for MIBR. Kiko is turning up right now. Such a small angle. I love this from MIBR. Look at this proactivity, the swinging together. But it's Zeo
โอ้
players.
เวอร์โนออกให้3แล้วเหรอไม่พอ
Getting that opening kill, wrapping around the side, catches into Shenham.
Woo! That hero rifle in Kiko's hands ultimately unravels MIBR, but Penny in midair dropping down from Crows. That's pretty nice too.
Commitment from TL to fully stack investment into the operator for Penny, one of the OG great offers of the NA Valorant scene.
Verno plays
Wait.
off of that dart yet again. Another Hunter's Fury deals with the Harbor. That's some stall util now. Taken off the table for Liquid.
If MIBR have one rookie that has had no fear, even against Gen G, it has been Verizon stepping up at the moment. These Hunter's Furies have been absolutely lethal, and it's allowing MIBR to slow the game down with that early man advantage, keeping Shenham posted up towards A and
เชียร์ทีมไหนนะครับ ทีมไหนได้แมปแรกพี่ไปทีมนั้นเลยได้พักได้ผ่อนเร็วๆหน่อย
They have an idea that this is likely happening right now after the noise cut. You can see multiple players at the top of the minimap on their way. They want to get to B early.
The alarm bot placement suggests there might not be
อยาก
staying
นอน
here.
เร็วๆอ่ะ
Yeah. Send a cascade, pull out, make use of the inserted Shenham over at the A side of the map. Working the map a lot, but
วันนี้เหนื่อย วันนี้จริงๆปกติจะมาก่อนใช่ไหม แต่วันนี้ไปข้างนอกมา
Penny will be able to catch a player perhaps on the cross.
How's he going to get in though with this high
ยังไม่อาบน้ำเลยเนี่ยโอ้ต้องอาบน้ำก่อนนอนเองโอ้
Stuck away. I mean, does he try to go in front of it?
He's
He's
in.
gonna get stunned up by
ไป
the
อาบน้ำแม่งเลยจบแบบเนี้ย
How's he
สับ
supposed to hold it up in the reckoning? It's
เดี๋ยว
not
กูมา
possible.
จบแบบนี้
Just has to play safe. Spike is going to go down.
Oh no!
โอ้โถปาร์ต
Jumped low, but no
เฮ้ยปาร์ตมันเก่งจริงปะวะ
goes. MIBR taking a more defensive stance
ของ
now.
ฟรีพี่ไม่ได้เลยอ่ะ
Panatek has found Verno right at the back at Belts.
He's going in. He's low enough as it is. It's all the same to him if he decays somewhat to try and take this fight. Nanoswarm on the spike location itself. Camo down, but he was low. Artazine being pressured now. Another one from Panatek from long range. And this
High,
he's
look, one
in the
deal.
thick of it. Decay down, and now the pin is gone. Gentleman's able to find Panatek.
ไอ้ปูดเลยปูดไม่ให้เลยอ่ะ
A brilliant retake from TL again. Multiple controller ultimates to fight through. They get their sixth.
Their retakes on A have gotten them in this 6-4 lead. They have been so So
โอ้
good
ปาร์ตพลาดของดีไปฮะ
That felt frankly unwinnable and should have been. The reckoning into the Vipers pit to get the site for free. Spike down. They're in a 5 versus 4. That was a great first kill. MIBR were playing some pretty passive positions, and that does allow Team Liquid to get forward.
Oh,
get
Ian
up
don't
top
hit die.
and drop into
You know
the
what
pit
he was said to
together,
me?
but even
He said,
still.
we cannot retake that ult ever, and we come now. We retake that.
I mean,
Yes
absolutely.
มันเป็นแบบนี้ตั้งแต่เมื่อไหร่วะไอ้แน็กเนี่ย เมื่อก่อนมันดูเงียบๆเว้ยเดี๋ยวนี้มันแบบว่ามาสายแบบเหี้ยแบบ mentality อ่ะ
They managed to figure it out. This is a retooled
เงินเข้า
Team Liquid
2,000
roster with Penny sort of just fitting in here. But you can
โอ้ย
see
โอ้
that
โห
IGL prowess from Nats.
ว่าแล้วเชียร์ ขอบคุณ
Leading
มาก
this
ครับ
team to a victory in an
ขอบ
extremely
คุณมากค่าขยัน
difficult scenario.
That round as well would have had
Oh.
Team Liquid economically in
ยิน
a
ดีเลยครับ
terrible
ยินดีขอบคุณ
situation.
มากเลยครับ
Very crucial
มาเลย
for them that
อ
they
ย่างนี้
won
อยู่จบ
that.
อย่างนี้อยู่จบ
Being up 6
เดี๋ยวโชว์ความขยัน
having 6
โทรไป
at this juncture on your Icebox defense
ขอให้เองไปเป็นหัวแถวในอนาคต
all
นะ
day long.
And they can
ชื่ออะไร
afford
แก๊ง
this fight. Verno hits
ชู
a
หัวหัว
fantastic Al drone dart. He follows up on it with the Hunter's Fury. And it might be
หวังว่าจะได้เจอ
The success that
ใน
MIBR
หัวแถว
have
สักแถว
had
หนึ่
on
ง
this post plants on A is when they've been able to fight deep in the site together. They gave up so much there that even despite
ผมก็
having
ดู
the
บูม
pit
ทุกวันนะครับ มี
why
ค่า
they
ขยัน
don't
ให้ผม
give
ไหม
it up. Team Liquid were able to take advantage of that. Operator still in the hands of Penny, and
มึง
interesting.
ซับก่อน
It's with 3 other players towards A. I mean, it's super typical. You'll have the op here do something like watch B main while there's an
ไม่
A
ซับ
stack.
เลยอ่ะ
So they want to just get proactive behind it, post up with multiple players who, yeah, they do. They've got Camo watching belt, but Aspas, top 2.
ผมจบซีรีส์ E แล้วพี่
A lot of pressure.
เฮ้ย
Dizzy as well, might swing at the same time. Nats is overwhelmed. There's not much you can do. It's a verified high-low setup thrown out there by MIBR. And Kiko lingers too long in mid. Jedam starting to gobble him up now.
That's a beautiful bait and
Egg
switch.
paid เหรอ
The attention that Aspas drew up there. Crosshairs so
ซีรีส์ E นี่หมายถึง
high up. And then the
เขาเรียกว่าการระดมทุนเหรอ
window.
เขาเรียกว่าอะไรวะ
That was beautiful.
เคยมีคนเคยอ่านโพสต์ที่อธิบายอยู่ว่าซีรีส์ E แม่งคืออะไร
Re-clear, but he can only do it via raw contact. Not a great position to be in when you are down 2 versus 4. But he will confirm that MIBR have absconded off to B.
With both the Harbor and the Viper alive heading towards this B site, you know, even if Penny were playing a position like back Snowman perhaps, there's just never going to be an angle to actually get a kill here with the operator.
Camo made the right choice coming to
ตอน
this
ได้ยิน
site.
คำว่า CDE นึกว่า
Penny
เอ็ก
now
เพ
gonna
ส
make
เพราะ
his
ทำข
rotate
น
because
ส่ง
they've confirmed it, but Artazine
ไม่แปล
sticks
ก
the
ใจ
plan.
เว้ยโอเว่น
Now MIBR arranged
ไม่
themselves
แปลก
over
ใจ
around
ไม่แปลก
green
ใจ
and
ว่ามึง
yellow.
จะคิดอย่างนั้นเลยกูยังคิดอยู่ว่ามันคืออะไรวะ
Red light, but there's not a lot to see.
แต่กูไม่ได้ตีความไปเอ็กเพส
This is just
กูยังสงสัยในความหมาย แต่มึงตีความหมายออกมาได้ระยำใจกู
taking
มาก
a bit too much damage on these rounds, still losing 3 on the prior, so they want to carry that op over for the final one.
And despite these back and forth rounds, MIBR's economy has largely remained intact. They've been able to continue to buy full loadouts, whereas Liquid have had to mix in a thrifty round to win that out.
กู
A
แปล
couple
เล็ก
of
นิด
these
เดียวอะ
weaker buys, and they're game planning for a similar situation now with this 2-gun save. Not yet. MIBR have made this a real competitive half on their best map, making it difficult for TL to put
อ
them
ย่าง
down.
น้อยก็มีอะไรในหัว โอ้
In the 6th round,
ไอ้เหี้ย
more for MIBR here than it
กู
does
ก็มี
Team Liquid when you're on this attack half. This was so well played. Look at
มัน
this
เป็นการระดมทุนอะไรสักอย่างนี่แหละ รอบที่ 4 มั้ง
with Aspas. Look at the
มันเริ่มจาก A B C D E เรียงลงมาหรือเปล่า ถ้าจำไม่ผิด
Not happening.
Last opportunity for a round. Only one ultimate likely going to be used in this round, which is Patatex. And we've seen Team Liquid be really excellent in the situation.
เป็นไง ไอเอก ไอเหี้ยกูแม่งของจริง
Back in.
Penny wants to play forward with the op again.
ของไอเหี้ยเว้ยมันมึน
He actually pushes it. Aspas up to jail, which is normally where he heads early in these rounds. Penny wants to linger, at least for the duration of that tailwind. Penny now is going to be here for the long haul. As it stands and Artazine walks into his line.
ตอนผมดูได้ยินเขาพูดว่าจบซีรีส์เก้าอี้ก็ได้นะ
Information is crucial. MIBR
ว่ามันเริ่มจากเก้าอี้อย่างนี้เหรอ
double lurk.
แต่กูไม่ใช่นะ ไม่ใช่ ไกลอยู่
KJ working mid. Oh, Patatex too aware.
Oh man,
มีแล้วไม่มีประโยชน์เอาไปทำไรเฮ้ยอันนี้หมายถึงไอความรู้ในหัวไอโอเว่นเนี่ยเหรอ
But a stunning start for the EMEA
พูด
squad.
กันด้วยแฟกต์ดิเวนไอ้เหี้ย
They really are aware as to how MIBR
มีใครเข้าข้างไอโอเว่นไหมมีความคิดที่ผิดมันบอกว่ามีความคิดที่ผิดอะดีกว่าไม่มี
in this first half.
He's laying it on thick, folks. Great mid presence there for TL thwarted. Kiko's individual
อย่าให้ถึงอย่างนั้นเลยเฮ้ย
That's his mid-rounding that has really gotten TL ahead of MIBR so far, but on the pistol, second half, this will see MIBR defend. And TL have that characteristic B-side group early. Quick ping on Artazine via the Aldrone.
Aspas still has that dash available, wants to take a duel back yellow, be able to escape and then double up, maybe play a little cross with Artazine right now.
But if Artazine gets overwhelmed, Aspas doesn't have a safe retreat angle, he'll have to stay. The line gets pushed into the cloud burst. Aspas, okay, realizes Penny's there. One shot is good, but
ไอ้เหี้ยปัดไม่ไหวกับเพนนีเอส
has to get in here.
โอ้โหแม่งยิงกันเบี้ยวเลยฮะ
8 points of health and Kiko.
โอ้
These players are so weak right now for TL. Having to wade through a lot of that Viper utility. They were in some serious danger. Recon available for Verno, going to go back yellow. Can it be played off of effectively?
Shannon is walking up on this. He'll have to.
แล้วไม่มีใครดูทางนี้เลยสวย อุ้ย
Here's Verno.
เคโก้เฮีย
Kiko continues his streak of dominance.
That has been a reign of terror from him on Icebox. His aim today, as sharp as ever. One of the most talented mechanical.
แม่งหันแบบหันฟ้าบอะเคโก้อะโอ้โหที่นั่นเต็มขาเลย โอ้โหดูดิ โอ้โห
The side of TL on MIBR's map pick, putting them in a really tough position. We know one of the keys to an MIBR victory when they're playing this map is defense.
โอ้
Keep
อัด
the
ปาด
economy rolling,
ไม่
keep
เอา
the
แล้วหรอ
hands of Aspas. That is always a win call.
มั่ว
So far,
โดน
it's
แนท
not
ทิมไป
played out. Artazine just flies a little bit too close to the sun there, and
เนี่ย
that's
ปานไม่เอาแล้ว สรุปรายจ่ายวันนี้ลบ 5K
the only player over at B, fairly far extended. So MIBR have to quickly get their ducks in a row
เอ้ย
for this underport attempt.
รายจ่ายวันนี้ลบ 5K ว่ะทุกคน
Walls going up, Cove getting thrown down for safety, and a very easy plant of one sheriff right now for Shenham. So should be a fairly simple cleanup for TL, who have heavily invested into this round. Look at the array of weapons.
ในบ้านมันมีตาหนึ่งที่มันเป็นปีศาจด้วย
It's very important that they carry this all over.
หลังๆนี่มันเริ่มเพี้ยน
นับถือใจคุณโอเว่นนะครับที่การพูดความคิดโง่โดยรู้ว่าจะโดนนัวเป็นผมไม่กล้านะมันดูโง่
Such a good spot and pretty confident that they're not about to lose
เย้
these weapons.
ยนี่นับถือแล้วใช่ไหม
May well agree with him because there's
นี่
been
มึง
no
นับถือ
further
ใช่ไหม
attempt from them to get into the game. Perhaps they don't really want to be feeding Kiko further because he's already over halfway towards that reckoning. Something that's going to make it ultra hard for MIBR, even on a rifle round, to adequately defend any of these sites. So they'll play the pacifist approach to the rest of this round. And this is now the most rounds that MIBR have conceded on this map
ถือว่านับถือ
compared to what they had in Americas.
In any VCT game, prior was only 8. It never happens where we need to see MIBR in a comeback position on Icebox. TL are looking fantastic with their IGL and one of the best players of all time. Nats back in the game with them. Goes without saying that this round is
ไม่โอเว่นไม่ลงดาบโอเว่นเป็นดาบที่อิสระครับแค่มีสีชมพูให้โดดเด่นเพื่อให้โดนด่าง่ายเฉย
Just look at how good this bonus round buy is.
Only 2 players with half armor on MIBR, so Nats' options for insta kills will be a little limited. Verno backs off.
มันแค่มีดาบไว้แบบว่าแค่โดดเด่นเพื่อให้โดนด่าง่าย
Saw camo here over towards that A side, and that's almost anticipating a bit of a thrust forward by MIBR, but they are very much of a different mind, falling back to the extremities of A. Maybe trying to get some mid control for Cortezia, but he doesn't ask for much. He's already got the turret watching it.
ๆผมไม่เหมือนอายุธนะพูดถึงนิดหน่อยแบนละดูชื่อมึงลูกอีต้อยถวยสัตว์มึงไม่น่าใช้คำว่านิดหน่อยอ่ะ
Very prepared for this A hit, ready to absorb that. Multiple players back, hoping to get that.
นิดหน่อย
Maybe go for the full retake if that's an opportunity they might have.
The high tide, Aspas gets ahead of it straight away. Cloudburst here for Penny to play, but Aspas is going to go over the top. Camo's
อุ้ย
down.
โอ้
Vamos, Aspas!
โว้มาแล้วครับ มาแล้วครับ
Patatek and Keiko now have to pick up the pieces.
มาแล้วครับ
And Aspas is still looking for more.
30
He has come alive.
One enemy remaining.
Verno will supplement his effort earlier on. 4 for Aspas.
มาแล้ว
MIBR come alive, not a moment too soon.
We've been waiting for a little bit, perhaps a little bit too long to see the GOAT make a play like that in Toronto.
เฮ้ยเป็นไรอ่ะเอาขอพิกัดกันแล้ว
Was that snap to the player up top? You are joking.
More of that. MIBR fans need to see. And again, very nonchalant approach for Aspas. He's been on these stages so many times before.
That is one of the most unbelievable spray transfers I have ever seen in this game. What the hell? I am absolutely stunned.
Nothing like a
Absolutely stunned.
Get America's squad trying to assert themselves on their map pick of Icebox.
นักพากย์เล่นเดอะ
And
โค้
he
ด
gets up on top of Tube early. Spotted them both.
กูนั่งดูไฮไลท์เมสซี่มาเมื่อกี้ตอนขับรถติดไฟแดงนั่งดูไฮไลท์เมสซี่โคตรเพลิน
He might give them
แต่
one.
โค้ดของจริง
That's shoved up here. Can't find the
เอา
correction
แล้ว
in time.
เน็ตโช
Nets are
ว์
gonna ask for more.
เน็ตโชว์
Verno eats the vulnerable and hopes to have an opportunity, but it does not present itself. Nats is out of there.
And all the while with that mid-action.
เอาอาร์ต
Okay, Artsin does catch out Penny on the retreat. This is getting awkward. Nats is
นี่
everywhere
ไง
taking duels.
โอ้โห
Chenom though,
Thệt liều
expect that
nè.
second player up tube. MIBR also
ปาร์ตไป
emphasizing
ไหน
their
ปาร์ตไปไหน ปาร์ตอยู่ไหน
Look at
Bát
Aspas
ma
is
lẳng
on the
hả?
long flank right now, but
There's a trade
Patatek aware.
Maybe spotted up by the trademark. Some sound made. Patatek, patient, waiting on this. Aspas! Can't run back against the nasty spray transfer. Chenom through the wall. Timing hurts him though. Camo
กู
deals
ให้
with it.
ถูกตลอดแล้วเว็บกูเอาลายแดกอะโง่มันก็ต้องถูกให้ตายใจแล้วหลังๆกูก็แดกมึงหมดตูดไง ไอ้เหี้ยมึง
Disgusting
ดูดิ
snap from Camo at the end.
8
That's doing the most in that round and doing what he
Yeah.
has always done best. Those lurk timings he's finding, being able to cross through that poison cloud, tucked into this corner.
ไอ้เหี้ย
Not ready for that engagement. Pivots back to 2, and all the while he's also just distracting so heavily that off of the high tide, Kiko throws into A. They go in and just get a nice free and easy plan.
We barely mentioned it, but there's a reckoning in play as well. Kiko's just been
เวอร์โน่นี่ยิงทุกตานะเวอร์โน่
round
เนี่ย
after round.
เก่งนะเนี่ย
Full investment from MIBR right
เอา
now.
แล้วปัดหาแทง ปัดหาแทง
They get an opportunity
Bát
to
hạ
get
thèn.
a match point with the subsequent being an eco for the Brazilian team.
Position forward, cross here a little low.
ไม่อันติ not ready มึงกดยันอันติเลยเหรอปัด
Hurt, though.
what the fuck
Camo can clear this mid util and step back a bit. Again, two
กดทำไม
players trying to work tube.
Camo is hoping someone goes for a reclear. He is daring them.
แม่งลุเอ้ย
Oh, pinged out.
Spray this one.
โอ้โห
Comes,
แม่ง
steps
ยัง
up.
ได้
Verno at least is able to complete the trade. At the moment, Chenom is starting to think about drifting back towards
อุ้ย
the epicenter of
อู้
the action.
เน็ตทามมิ่งฮะ
Tube.
It is remarkable that. Oh my
โอ้
God. He's just facing into the
โอ้ย
open.
ปัดไอ้เหี้ย
Kiko handles him comfortably, but there was another
ปัด
gun
โคตร
trade.
โมเลยว่ะ
Alright, high tide is going up. Counter high tide from
What is Nats doing?
Martin. Verno is trying to entrench himself into the site.
30
Blood
seconds
is
left.
on the spiral.
How?
Oh no! Nats! He's in the walls!
เหี้ยเน็ต
And now he's sat right up behind Artazine. This is absolutely going to put the pressure on.
GG
That's
by
breathing
MIBR.
down the neck of our sophomore IGL.
แล้วแม่งรีโหลดบนหัวเลยอ่ะโคตรหยามอ่ะ
There is a long flank from Shen
แล้วแม่ง
coming
ปล่อย
around.
ที่อาร์ซินแบบสงสัยเฮ้ยทำไมแม่งไม่ฆ่า
Sure
กู
that
วะ
he's not going to make too much noise,
มัน
but
รู้
the
นะ
time
ว่า
is
กูอยู่ตรง
dwindling.
เนี้ย
Artsin just really wants someone to overextend and push towards him. It's not going to
มัน
come.
รู้
He's
นะเนี่ย
going to have to be the one
แต่มัน
to
ไม่
get
ฆ่าเว้ย
proactive.
แม่งปล่อย
One of these MIBR players needs to make noise for the other.
He's going for it. Spotted Key.
นั่น
Can't handle him
ปล่อย
now.
กูเหรอ
Eyes
อาร์ต
open
บอก
towards Raft, and Nats challenges him. Gets
เกือบ
destroyed.
เกือบ
But elsewhere, Chenom was dealt with by Penny. And Artazine could not do more. This is now heading into a 4-alarm fire for MIBR. They've handed over Team Liquid their 11th round. And Liquid are just going up gear after gear.
Camo picked up, just cannot get away with even going 1-for-1 there. Aspas swinging out
ปัด
into the
มั่ว
open
เกิน
face.
เปิดทุกมุมเลยเฮีย
Really wants to be a hero in that situation. This attack side has been a Nats lurking masterclass.
And he's defying all of the assumptions that MIBR are making about the positioning of TL in the mid round.
พี่เอาใส่ทุกมุมเลยอ่ะ
I think Kiko it was, or Camo rather, up tube. That would be it. But Nats was actually doubled up with him, unable to help much with that initial fight, but then slipped through the net. Shenum had no eyes on him as he rotated over towards A.
When we get back into this, that was the round that was going to put MIBR on a really bad buy where they're going to need to force. It's not appalling, but they're going to have a ton of light armors, weaker rifles, etc. Must come out of this timeout with a strong game plan. They have good ults to do it. Look, I'm just looking at Verno right now. He has the most kills in this server at 15. He is one of the youngest players at this event. His first year out of Challengers. The one American player on a team full of Brazilians. This roster move on paper, I feel like this makes no sense. He's fit into the team like a glove and now is the standout for them at their international debut.
But it's not enough here on Icebox, not by half.
He was getting multiple Hunter's Fury kills though in that first half, using them even early in rounds. Can he get another advantage for MIBR to try and convert off the back of that ultimate?
Verno, who was nonchalant like a second skin,
เอา
is going to have to keep that composure.
เพิ่งพอดมาแผนอย่างงู้นอย่างงี้ไอ้เฮียนี่กิ้งก่อนเลย
The attackers just out in the open, caught after the
ยังไม่ถึง5 วิดี
pretty disastrous. Look at this force from MIBR. There's just two
อุ้ย
sheriffs.
เฮียอาร์ต
Artsin taking matters
เอ้ย
into
เฮีย
his
วันนี้
own
อาร์ตแบบ
hands.
มานะอาร์ตมาตึงนะ
Has a reckoning to play with, rather, you know.
อาร์ต
he
ไม่เหมือน
did
เดิม
overlap,
นะ
but he will be
Ui,
able to
ui.
fire that off when the execute comes in.
As far as stall utility goes, MIBR are well positioned, already having bought some time with that awkward situation for TL. They've recovered the spike and all drop down. They might look to take multi-faces as they contact
สายใกล้
now into the A site.
สายใกล้จะเช็คยังไง
We are
นี่
Shenum
ไง
taken down.
มุมนั้นมันตายร้อยอะดิ
Shenum's got to find the spacing off of it at least, but
มุม
Camo's
กาก
getting
เกิ
in
นไอ้
there.
เฮียมุม
Team
นั้น
Liquid
อะ
now starting to scrap for the side.
เดินมา
and
เช็คก็
only
ตายแล้วไอ้
Shenum
สัตว์
standing under
โอ้
rafters.
จีไอ้สัตว์เอ็มไอบี
It's
อา
not
ร์
enough for MIBR. This awkward buy light armors. They get blown apart.
Spike
They're
planted.
playing so heavily to anchor with a Hunter's Fury and a Reckoning. They can pounce, or could have pounced on Team Liquid when they tried to go for the plant with those ults. But anchoring with the weaker weapons is their undoing.
หมดยุค
Unless
ก็วะอัด
Cortesia
ปัด
can come up with a monster clutch.
ตามจอห์นโอเซน
Team
ไป
Liquid
ติด
are
ๆเลย
on
เฮีย
the precipice of match point. And for the first time in VCT, will deal a loss to MIBR and Icebox.
Zia handled all too easily by Penny. Someone who also stood on the America stage for a time.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year was a sub for Brazil with Furia gets them a win, and now unfortunately a sub about to deal them a loss on
ไอ้เฮียทำไรอ่ะ
Again, one of only two Canadians will take the stage here at Masters Toronto.
No, we thought we were only getting one. We've got a second
Oi.
hometown hero.
That's a beautiful finish. Team Liquid have looked sublime on this.
เฮ้ยมันทำอะไรวะ
It's been a lurking masterclass from Nats with amazing mid-rounding and Kiko and Penny delivering where it counts. Up to the races now. Aspas wants to play forward once more. Blade Storm at the hand. This time he has someone to play off him at least. Or does he? Oh, Artsin, not what you want to see.
And some serious danger on the run right now with Aspas, who has been eager to take duels on this A-side. Hunter's Fury coming through Penny midair.
Artsin handled comfortably. Just one blade was enough to do
โอ้
it.
หมดเลย
Great Hunter's Fury from Verno, but it's not going to be enough. Now to side under full control of TL.
เฮ้ยเฮ้ยจุด
Make it that much
อ
harder for
ุ้ย
MIBR.
ดูดิ ดูอันตีดิยัดแม่โค้ง
Tied up right now. They're being
โค้งเข้ามาอยู่ตรงนี้ได้ฮะ เป็นไง จดนะจดนะตีแนทนะ
There is backside. This is Team Liquid.
อันฮะ
Four players
มึงครอบบอมไหมเนี่ย เฮ้ย
in the pit, allowing
ใช่ปะเนี่ย
to come to them. Pressure now on the spike.
Gives it a tap, draws the util out of TL, but there is still more. Panatek has two shockies to play with. Shenum ducks in, sees very
หรือ
little.
ว่าไม่จำเป็นต้องครอบวะแชท
Comes through, Penny has his head ripped off. Cortesia finds those shots.
Last player
And
standing.
on the spike is Verno. He's gotten it to half. Are they going to know he's going to be dead? They're too busy.
โอ้ ไม่จำเป็นแนทบอก ไม่จำเป็น
Red Bull clutch as he sprays through.
Holy shit
Gut punch to MIBR, their best against Gen G prior. So it's now or never.
And unfortunately for them, it's flashbacks to that map loss as Team Liquid are playing a very inspired comp by Gen G. The difference is being that Serial is on this Cypher, subbing in for Penny to run this.
He forced back, getting knocked down to 50 HP.
Nah.
Swinging around here at backside.
How impactful he was on Icebox on attack.
Another one.
MIBR did not
They're gonna wait for 5K before they break the door.
MIBR.
There's the first headshot. Spray down.
เฮ้อไอ้แนท
Great smoke place. We're thinking about going for that TP forward into the smoke. Tap on the spike. He's not holding it. The check in. Oh, like ships in the night. They miss each other here. But eventually, BOOMBURAPA's gonna have to try to.
ง่ายเลยดูดิ
But he just actually
ดู
swings
พีก
out.
ดิ
But eventually, BOOMBURAPA's gonna have to try to stick
ดูพีก
down.
ดิไอ้เฮ้ยดูพีกไวๆอ่ะ
Spike planted.
พีกแบบตกใจอ่ะ
So brutal. They just don't enter these games with any level of momentum. But you have Verno alive. He has been the player for MIBR, the unlikely hero.
แม่งแบบแป๊บเดียวปาดโคม
How can they get back in? You have Cortesia on that late flank, but there's so much delay from this dark cover now going up. And MIBR, they have nothing to really get through it. They do a recon.
มันใกล้ไปน้องเอาขึ้นน่าจะตาย โอเคจีจี2-0 ค่อนข้างชัวร์
MIBR, it's one false step at the start of the round. They can't recover from it.
You said if there was a mistiming with this early elbow fight, the relay ball coming out, Artsin caught out here in the open position known. And then even being blinded up, Camo just dives onto Shenum with a real opportunity to get
โอ้ไม่โดนสักนัดเลยซีนอม
really tough for him to track. That is exactly why you run the Neon against Billy, even though it was in a loss. Camo on that agent was really sick.
Okay, over to round 2. Team Liquid just an exchange here in B main and tank shells drawn out of Aspas. But they saw so little that they are already out of that site.
He does have a Sheriff, the Brazilian star. That is the only light upgrade into this round. Verno
โอ้โดโถโดดติดเล็กน้อย
had a classic in hand anyhow. So the site is all too free for Team Liquid.
Stand up the side. TL can still play that old school approach here to Sunset, falling back to B main, smoking it off, spamming the site. They have left Kiko in there. Cortesia has to step up here in market. Now it's a question of timing. The rest of his team are on the way to Boba. And Cortesia is just trying to dot his eyes here, see if there's anyone in a backstab position in mid, but MIBR, no business trying to challenge this, and they're very much aware of it.
Matt's just happy to go hunting with this Ghost. That's similar to Icebox after the pistol round was won on attack from Team Liquid. They invest very heavily into this round 2. There they didn't have a Ghost at all, actually, which is pretty typical. Here they do, but even still, double Bulldog, double Vandal. They have a real shot at winning this bonus round with the level of weaponry they've got. MIBR desperately need to stop the bleeding at this point.
Now, MIBR were able to win against the TL bonus on Icebox and actually made that first half look pretty competitive. It was a 7-5. But again, they've always had to play from a deficit. They've played from behind in every single map they've played here in Toronto. And that is going to take its toll. The fatigue is going to start to creep in. Frustration, I'm sure. This is an old school look for this map.
Yeah, this
Unseen on the
is
Gecko.
Just the past. The old
Used to be
throw
like
the
Gecko
dizzy
breach.
up
Yeah, have the
to get some
lineups.
info in main. But yes, this is the breach nerf going away to the Sova is very relevant. Look at this hit from Camo all the way through Link off the fast lane. Relay bolt to press forward, but Aspas shuts him down.
Unseen always dealt with Aspas, can't really help trade that kill. Paratek is in position, playing around this one way. Trapwire is also there, so MIBR don't have anywhere to go now. They're going to be pinched in this part of the map. They've got to fall back to Halls, ideally. Kiko wants to take the fight to Aspas, and yet he's back turned.
เตรียมตัวแดกข้าววัดเลย
0 for Kiko. Again, dominant showing on Icebox. He has stepped up massively. And our Serial doesn't have to do a damn thing. Shenum is stuck here.
Team Liquid, they know it's definitely possible that a player is here. Shenum with the first.
Now it's a matter of numbers. Overwhelm that position ideally, but Genum's able to TP away and still look to take the fight. Cats Nation, do they have the answer? You'd better believe it.
เหี้ยเคโกะจะเอ็ดเอา
Grouped up in link now. One last crack at this. His bonus round too strong for them. Apparently, Cortezia gets in though through the cyber cage in the back of sight, gives it a tap. Verno decayed down, but healing up. Kiko steps out. Wide swing from Human now. Nats has to clutch this away. Almost gets there.
เดินเพี้ยนเลยไอ้นั่นน่ะไอ้
It's able to get
Keiko.
MIBR into the map.
Much like against Genji, Verno in the clutch. The hero of Brazil, an American Challengers player that made his debut in
What is it with
BCT
American
this year.
Challengers players in this series, huh?
The most unlikely of unlikely heroes for MIBR, for Brazil, for the best team that they've got in the scene right now.
Funny, he kind of threw people off in some of his press appearances early in America's. This is more nonchalance, like he didn't seem to care much. I think he was really misunderstood, and you see his like more low-key approach to the game means that he can get onto these high-pressure situations and actually shine, whereas the rest of his team have struggled in that regard.
And since joining, the vibes were so fun and always just felt so great for MIBR throughout their entire America's run. It's just only in Toronto here that we're seeing them, a little bit more sad, I would say, with some of the results that they're having.
More
Pretty
sad.
dejected, some would say.
Glum, even.
Maybe putting it lightly there, but happy to convert against that bonus round strat that Team Liquid
ภูมิ
brought
แพ้
out.
แล้วเนี่ย
Costly though, look at the weapons at MIBR.
จามไม่หยุดเลยแม่เย็ด
Stinger, Bulldog mixed in with the Guardian. Shenum can't get value out of his weapon. Aspas is able to get away, and Camo took a pretty big hit in that exchange. The Dizzy going to create the spacing to get Aspas out properly.
Now being spotted out, Team Liquid still more than enough time to make a pivot. That dark cover to obscure anyone top mid who may have intentions of firing through, and now a noise cut as they go into market. Eventually, they'll have to break this streak, give up the game. Low HP Camo, maybe he can make some space and can trade it off.
There it is, Cortezia, Seal with Panatech, both go down. Nice little setup
โอ้ย
here.
แฟดโคตรดีฮะ
Bulldog a little bit wayward. These Verno when it comes
อาร์ตเบาหน่อยอาร์ต
That's a true veteran.
อาร์ตไม่เอาดิ
Against one of the all-time clutch gods in that back-to-back. Caught jumping up, wanted to get that molly down so he could run forward, try to recover the spike.
And honestly, that's set up by this early engagement. Camo had gone quite low. In fact, there are two players that died to a shot dart in this position, but Verno wants to fight instead of use that util. Fighting forward, Artesian also with a decent timing through mid. Good collapse here. That has got to feel good. That has got to feel vindicating.
Those are some great little turtle swings from Cortezia and Shenum and Tan.
เฮ้ย
playing
ตอน
from
ลิควิดชนะ
Team Liquid
มึงก็ดีใจ
on
ไอ้เสื้อบราซิลเนี่ยกูเห็นอยู่
Arguably the
ว่าแม่งนัวเว้ยเนี่ย
server. Perhaps inarguably, he was.
เหี้ย MIBR ชนะแม่งก็ตักกระโดด
Minus 23 over 3 maps. It's hard to see that Kiko has much competition there. A warning shot for Artesian, and he'll have to get off the line as the relay bolts come in. This will allow TL to slowly scale up into halls, but Aspas has been brought over to A.
แม่งเชียร์สองฝั่งไอ้เหี้ยนี่
Pivoting here, fast lane now, so Team Liquid can get out onto the site.
Camo wants to fight through this with a stinger. Good.
You could have seen the
อุ้ยไม่เห็น
battle,
ไอ้
but
เหี้ย
he's so locked in on the dark cover.
That's awkward. Camo gets away with it. How? 3 players for MIBR here on Link, and they're going to go for it. Artesian the Herald gets on in there, but now Hunter's Fury comes straight through. Panatech trying to light them up as they get on in here. Serial going to be outdone by Cortezia and the Guardian. Artesian finally finds connection with the Outlaw. Nats has goes though.
Oh, Nat.
Kiko now gets that rifle in play, and he gets value. Found 2, leaving Panatech on his own. But he can hear the yells from the stage here. With every round MIBR put together, their confidence starts to build.
Their economy is being kept very honest by Team Liquid, but they are winning the rounds. That's what matters most. They'll be happy to have gotten one of those ultimates out with Panatech committing the Hunter's Fury all for naught. They've done it again. Cortezia with that opening engagement. Serial late, biding his time, picked off. They just scale in together nicely, trading things out with an advantage that they have. Well done.
And they've got a lot to retake with.
500 บวกน้ำล้น
That ends up putting that pressure on Camo, forces him out. You've got the Dizzy from Artesian, a lot of retake potential, so MIBR make the right choice, get off the A
ๆ
side
ไป
early.
ต่อ
Now look at the state of the ultimates for MIBR. As Team Liquid are in this with their next full buy. Showstopper, Hunter's Fury. Very dangerous.
Both exits from mid are trapped.
กูได้
Shock dart. That's going to allow Camo to maybe push up as that top cover is getting cycled. Team Liquid, they do love to go for these deep wrap site executes using the neon to get through, one of the other
Sentinel
sides.
อ่ะ
Timing. There's a timing
ทำเงินเยอะมาก Sentinel กับ
Started by Camo, who
เมื่อ
now
วาน
get ahead of
กู้อะไรวะ
Oh, I love this from
Cool, yeah.
MIBR trying to get control of B-Main. This has to be a trade from Aspas and he connects
กู
with the
กดสอง
rocket.
คู่นั้นแบบเต็มแม็กอะ เต็มเหนียวอะแล้วกูก็ถอนเลยแยกย้ายเลยเมื่อวานเนี่ย
Drop down to 4 by that spray.
เซนติเนลทั้งสองนั่นแหละกูน่ากดเซนติเนลทั้งสองไป
It's going to be ripped by Verno.
ไม่เจนเปเปอร์เล็กไม่ได้กด
Tapped.
ก
Team
ลัว
Liquid wanted to bait this out. You still have Aspas in B-Main.
ถ้ากดก็กดเจน
That connection was
ก็
close.
น่าจะแดกอยู่แต่ไม่ได้กด
Aspas is
ไอเลนที่มึงถามว่าไอโปสตงโปสเตอร์คือทีมงานที่ครบแล้วแหละน้อง
Love
มัน
to
นะ
be able to push for some space together rather than
ไม่ได้
feeling
ไม่ได้
encircled in sight.
ไม่ได้
Is that
หาอะไร
just
เพิ่มนะ
spray?
ทีม
Pure
งาน
spam
พร้อม
through.
นะ
Verno
พร้อม
only
ลบ
had 3-4 HP.
That's kind of devastating. Verno could still have been such a
เซนอะเซนกูกดทั้งสองรอบเลย
Camo still
แดกหมด
watching for it.
รอบแรกกด 2-0 ด้วยนะ แต่แม่งเกือบ
Shannon wants to
ไอ้
head
สั
up
ตว์
towards Boba, but Camo
นั่ง
is
ลุ้น
stuck on that
ขี้
line.
แตก
It's
ขี้
gonna
แต
be a
น
tough
เลย
fight for him to win. Aspas gives himself away now. Great paranoia for Shannon to get him, but Aspas has dealt with. He would have had to find 3. And Kiko again slaps down.
แม่งเกือบแมปแรกอะ
With the aim still just looking too clean for Kiko. Fortunate that Verno was just on such low HP after one of those previous engagements.
No,
Look
no.
at that. Unbelievable. Quick tap on
สอง
such a tight
เซน
angle
สอง
from
รอบ
Serial.
พอ
Aspas he just didn't know what was set up on the site.
I think MIBR made some good positional decisions in that round, taking B main after realizing and seeing that Camo's through top mid, they could be pressuring through market as well. We need space somewhere. Let's fight B main, but Serial going 1-for-1 there is huge.
Ferno is able to light the side up with some of that Sova util. That goes differently, but still. Group up here towards this B-side lobby for TL.
And now just on account of the MIBR round wins coming down to primarily Verno clutches, look at their economy. They were on a multi-round win streak and they have nothing to show for it.
Cortesia though is
ซีเรียลซิกเพเยอร์เหรอไอ้เหี้ยอยู่ๆก็ทำซิกเพเยอร์เฉยพอมากินตีน้อยไลฟ์กว่าเก้าได้กี่รอบอ่ะโอ้
one look and all will be revealed. Cortesia just snarled up though in an engagement in front of main and gonna be the outlaw that claims it. Into the site we go here. MIBR happy to give it up.
50 รอบยังได้เหี้ย
Choice without Cortesia.
This is Verno with just a classic.
Stinger for Shannon. It's looking ugly there in terms of the arsenal.
I like this from TL. Tap the spike. Let's try and get some util out. See if they swing into us.
Spike planted.
Play it safe. All right. And now we can get the spike down. Now we can position.
This is what Aspas wanted last round. A recon to try and set him up. Nothing was shown from it, and here's Nats. Happy just to play out in the open by main. Doesn't see Verno cross. He's revealed the timing was there.
เรียบร้อย
Comfortably.
ขออนุญาตขึ้นนำนะฮะลิควิด
Now to go for it for MIBR. They grouped up, and Nats is going to go looking punished for that. Outlaw unrecoverable though, and so is the round as far as MIBR concerned. Shannon found a second, but eventually TL just overload that market.
Nats is just one of those players that you're always going to see take advantage of
ย
the
กบินได้ไหม
on that attack
ขาย
side.
บินดิขายบินเนี่ยยังมีราคาอยู่นี่ขายบินน่ะ
Recognize that these situations, excuse me, where it's going to get the most value, take advantage of it. MIBR are going to be fully investing into this round. Both teams not totally out of the woods economically, but this one for TL, they'll have another buy even if they lose here. This is a round where Nat still has that Viper's Pit.
Camo wastes no time in pushing towards his A side. An overdrive at the ready. Rifle though in hand. Clear that util, more than happy to be the blunt object to try and
โอ้โดนกระ
crack
ทืบ
A open, but he's just the solo player. He can sell ice to an Inuit. Shannon cleans him out, but now MIBR realize the action really is over on B, but it's a Viper's Pit post plant already set up.
แต่ได้พ้นแผ่นนะ
Short-handed as TLR. They've
เอา
got
แล้
strong defensive
วอันติ
positions.
แนท
That was a great trade from Verno. That flash was
Anti
early
net
enough
ครับ
for Barty was able to
โอ้
get out. Jay
โห
just spam through. Normally with a
Verno
pit down,
แม่ง
that's a
แบก
no
จัดเลย
access to sight moment, but Verno comes up.
He's not done either. Serial here trying to play from lobby. Serial killer.
โอ้ไอ้เหี้ยทำไมมันวิ่งเพี้ยนๆอย่างนั้นวะอาร์ตอะทำไมมันอย่างนั้นวะเฮ้ยมึงก็เช็คหน่อยดิ
But Verno once
จะ
again
แพ้เอาแล้วนะไอ้เหี้ย
3 kills and a Viper's Pit destruction.
That was the definition of must win for MIBR.
แม่งรีบไปไหนวะ
Verno is
เกือบแพ้
that guy for this team right now. Finds the trade up to Patatek. All right. Going to be satisfied with that little play.
But that is emblematic of the changes made to Sunset. You no longer have that kiosk to hide behind when you're trying to play post-plant there in B main. So Verno can actually spray at those defenders where they're set up.
My bad ว่ะ
Characteristic look there for Aspas, who again was 2-9 in first kill, first death against Gen G. And as Ender put it out, he said he felt like it was the worst performance of Aspas' career against that Gen G team. He had a moment on Icebox, clutch, but again, hasn't really taken over the game like MIBR need him to.
And that was with him on the Neon against Gen G. So they have switched things up and gone for a very traditional composition, bringing back the Gecko and bringing back the Rays. We've really seen primarily Neon here, you know, since this map was in its latter days before getting removed. And Neon had the buff where it was, you know, she was the most
พอลง MIBR แล้วแบบมันมีน้ำโหอ่ะ
and primarily being used here. But in that game, there were so many moments where Aspas was getting very disconnected. MIBR were slow to trade, playing very individualistic, but not in a hyper-aggressive way, in a nervous way. And that's just
I'll never
going to
forget
have to be completely changed today.
that 4-player swing into Foxy on Haven, where they just get gunned down with poor spacing on that multi-swing. That one lives in my head rent-free.
Standard stuff with this Gecko on defense. Just throw up the early Dizzy, see if there's going to be quick pressure on this A side. If it's forced to be shot with this Cloud, that's going to give a good opportunity for Team Liquid to cross and then double face as the smoke drops in case someone from MIBR was playing close.
Shannon second guesses himself there and opts not to overextend. Kiko likely was watching that line and still is. But into halls is the rest of TL. 3 players getting a lot of map control, and no one's watching from alley here, Wyatt.
This wall from Nats is so cool. They basically just give up Link. They're going to let Serial play on that side late. Send everyone through elbow. We have most of the angles cut off. Matter of fact, let's just
โอ้
contact
โห
in.
ถ้าโดดขึ้นมึงตายไปแล้วไอ้เหี้ย
Trying to get up on the box
บั
there.
ตเอ้ย
Probably for the best he didn't because he was
มึงโชคดีไปนะที่มึงโดดไม่ค่อยเก่ง
Maybe he just second thought better of it not to. Into the side they are.
ไอ้
Paranoia
เหี้ย
really
เน็ต
hitting
เพื่อนอีก
hard.
อะไรวะเนี่ย มึง
Confusing
คุยกัน
him
ปะ
out
เนี่ย
of
เฮ้ย
Camo now will look to step out. Some good old-fashioned fights here, and of course, blood for halls. So TL don't have to overextend. There's no undue risks that need to be taken here. Nats though getting chunked low with this wall bang spam, and Inferno again is the one.
เฮียเวอร์โน่นี่แม่งเซนดีที่ไหน
In this round, all out to the sun they go, and Patatek will end the round.
เฮียเวอร์โน่นี่แม่งดีว่ะ
Was about as elegant as MIBR could possibly be with time not on their side.
They're just thrown into such disarray, trying to work around that wall that Nats has up. Yeah, this was a
โชคดีจัดอะไอ้เหี้ย
again, I think for the best. Camo immediately started spraying up top when he heard the satchels and would have died there.
Maybe a fake, yeah.
But when MIBR actually get into the site, they don't have any smoke for, you know, being thrown down elbow because Shenham was blinded up, died trying to go through the wall, and then everyone's just stuck in awkward positions. It's resulted in MIBR's economy being broken again. They've got a couple Guardians, sure. And honestly, throw one of those over to Verno.
ตั้งใจโดนหลอกอีก
Like, Verno is the one keeping them in this game.
You need to dap my boy up. You need to give him everything he asks
ฝัน
for.
ดีเว้ย
Give him the supermax.
ลุ้นอะไรเฮียโดนแล้ว
Cycling that smoke top mid again, TL.
แม่งหลุดรั่วๆกันไม่รู้ว่า MIBR
Again, it's like you said, 2 Guardians. Relay ball catching onto Aspas. Camo though respects the paint shells, but he's going to duck back into market. He's feeling it.
That shock door breaks the tripwire. MIBR have been pressed back into more passive positions, so they can assume that Team Liquid are just walking into market right now, slowly, silently.
That cam from Cortesi is designed to be able to look into B main as well. Rid of Kiko. Spraying through the dark cover here is MIBR trying to slow the game down, but Camo's gotten in and onto the side. This is now a problem. All of MIBR playing from Boba. They might try and flood in on off timing. It is Aspas leading the way. Shadow will be able to get with the classic serial under pressure, but takes his. Now a beat, a break in the action. Reloads, Aspas a little bit low. Shotgun takes serial down to 10, and Shadow converts.
เหลือนัดคนเดียวฮะ
It's just Nats. No plant yet for TL.
TP from Shenum heard as he gets back into Boba and he shows a
do
little
it.
bit of leg.
Spotted out, drone going to come in from Verno. Nats forced to dodge that for now. The Sova has not been able to, recover a decent.
Whoa!
Just got the classic Verno versus Nats again.
Verno shoulder piece here, Nats is ice cold. He's ice cold. He's just got enough time.
เฮียแนทไอ้สัตว์
Gets it in. Will be spotted out by Verno. It's time to fight. Verno is 35, very low, but he has the drop on Nats, who's watching the other corner.
เฮีย
Ring around the rosy, but Nats now is convinced that this is the
เชีย
ice cold Red Bull clutch straight out the freezer.
เฮียกับตันแนท
Another TL round.
Here, Captain Nat.
MIBR soul.
Vengeance for Nats after being denied a couple rounds by Verno earlier. It has been just a face-off
โอ้อาการนี้ใช่เลย
one of
อาการนี้กลับมาแล้ว
of all time and one of the future
อาการนี้
greats
กลับ
of
มาแล้ว
Verno.
He has it down to the second.
You want something done right.
Every aspect of that 1v2 is calibrated and refined over years of play. Not even close, baby.
Oppa, oppa, oppa. Sorry.
Just another day in the office for Nats. I feel like back in the day used to be a bit more of a stone cold killer, and now a little bit more whimsy about him.
Loosened up, delivering performance reviews at a rate of knots in the halftime, which of course we're getting awfully close to as MIBR have opted for a timeout.
And just seeing Nats in this era now as well, where he's performing like when we saw him in his prime with Gambit, when he's won an international trophy, but also being the IGL, pretty crazy that he's just been able to elevate his play as a whole to this level.
You see why people are raving about Cats Nation, because Kiko has not been far behind. Just consistent brilliance over Icebox and now Sunset.
ยี่ต้องเชื่อตัวเองไว้ทีหลังอะ
If Nats keeps this up, hell, if he takes down another international trophy, look, he's already in the conversation for one of the greatest of all time, but...
And they've come in drips and drabs. That round 3, 4, 5 string for MIBR, crucial. Getting even footing now on this defense side.
I've seen this before. Wait out the dizzy, throw down the cloud, and then a couple players pop out at the same time for the double face. This time it's Camo with a Bucky, though. They want to get into elbow. Shenum eyes on it.
Safer line, he's not one and done. Tark, but Camo doesn't care. Slides on him, detained though. Will there be a double swing? Yes, Artesine overwhelmed. So the player advantage stands with TL.
Bruno wants to get into the side. It looks like he wants to manifest an opportunity to at least find one kill, bring this into a 3v3 for the retake.
From the shadows there from Keiko. Back with the rest of the team now. Smoke to the top box of Ali, but Cortezia will play just on the vestiges of it. See Keiko coming! They've overestimated themselves, Team Liquid. A bit of a misassumption made about the position of the Cypher, and it's punished eventually. They bring Cortezia down. Verno's comfortable in his element, you'd think. Serial's able to pluck him out.
Oh, he just assumed it.
และ1-1 อัดปาด
Coming from elbow.
คิงปาด
This is now Aspas' chance to show us where the heck he's been all week.
30
A 1 versus 1,
Oh.
and he's dealt with by Serial.
นุ่มเลยคิงปาด
For Liquid. In an anemic performance by the Rays in the clutch. We don't get it at all.
From MIBR, this is looking like a classic B hit and leaves her. Well, okay, well, Cypher's left in the dirt on tiles, actually. That is so tough. Artson now trying to scale into sight. Recon going in the back, dizzy through the wall. Can anyone actually capitalize off of it?
Going for a double back though, doesn't like what he sees, and that's because there's 4 players of DL looking straight at them. A veritable firing squad set up by the EMEA team in Serial.
จีจี
Verno gets his and more, that's the question. It's Shenum down.
จีจี
Pistols for MIBR as Team Liquid get another one. Widen the lead to 3 and start to tighten the thumb screws on this floundering NA squad.
Cortezia just takes an early peek through tiles, walks right into a double face there. Pad attack nets the kill. Opted to go a bit earlier, try to get a kill. You know, could have alternatively chosen to take it very slow.
Show me your hat, show me your hat. Man, you're a Cypher hat, nothing.
อ๋อ
Bro can't just ask for a milady tip your hat in the current year. Come on, Serial, give it the program. So too busy just feasting on these pistol frags.
MIBR
What?
with had enough of losing pistols. Why not
ไอ้
try
แนท
some
นี่แม่งเปลี่ยนไปเยอะ
success
เลยว่ะ
on a
ไอ้
round
เหี้ย
2 force
สุดยอด
instead?
ว่ะ
It's an America's force for an America's roster. Aspas will lead the way quietly, just communicating that there's nobody here in elbow whatsoever.
Team Liquid happy to have 3 players ready on this A site on account of the Cypher setup towards B, some passive info gain towards B main. Cam watching towards tiles, jiggle peek from Nats in mid. Team Liquid don't really have to budge over on this site.
Padatech has started to reassume control into this A site. Expecting here that some anchoring could be required. He is yapping.
There are pings going down on the map right now from MIBR. Dizzy ready to be thrown over top. Should connect onto Padatech unless it gets broken, but when they come out of elbow, Kiko is on the perfect angle to get an opener.
Crossfire broken up though. This is scary for Padatech. He's hit with the paranoia, but oh, Aspas taken down. Kiko's on the box, and that wasn't smoked for. 1 for 1. Shannon Sheriff claims him, but Camo now is dug in.
แล้วฟอร์สมาเรียบร้อยไหลกว่าเดิม
First casualty in
นึ
the
ก
last
ว่า
round
เยี่
now.
ยว
Just a stinger. Almost enough for Nats, but not quite. Camo exits with 3. And now it's a 4-round game.
I believe that dark cover from Shannon was just thrown down to cover the entire crossover towards spawn side. It's not in the one-way. So Kiko gets that opener. Fair enough, MIBR multi-swing to find that trade.
ไอ้ยี่นี่แตกหมดเลยนี่ไอ้ยี่888เละเทะเลยดิมึง
No real effort to fight towards Link, draw attention from the other TL players away.
That mid-rounding for Padatech was sick. He was jabbering at a mile a minute and look
จ
at
น
that
คากเลย
side after initially playing off of it.
And they just had no
โอ้อัดปา
reason
ส่อง
to
ตาถึง
they
10ป่ะเนี่ย
had full passive
ถึ
info
งนะ
defensively across the entire rest of the map.
ไม่ถึงก็หนักไป
Got
ไอ้
a
เหี้ย
lot of shares for MIBR. Do anything here.
โอ้
Oh my god, what? Sure.
Okay. Just a tickle. Turns into a 41 health Shannon and easily dominated by Padatech. Aspas down again. Verno's low after these early exchanges. And the Viper wall gets toggled yet again. MIBR. See what the Brains Trust have to put together. IGL Artisane still on
โห
the
เวอ
scene.
ร์โนแม่งโคตรแบกอะ
Your options
แม่งยิง
become
เยอะตลอด
more and more
แต่ไม่พอว่ะ
limited.
Okay.
TL just happy right now to play in the death ball formation, give up A if they need to, go for the retake, face together mid. They're making this easy. They're going to make it look effortless unless Cortezia lives up to the headshot machine name.
Relay bolts for Camo. Into that space. Don't need to do too much here for TL. Just keep MIBR on their toes. No hurry. Oh, jeez, okay.
30 seconds left.
Somebody alert Peter. That was brutal.
Nats is just patient on this angle. Artson dealt with, and Cortezia shut down. Not only a lot of damage for MIBR across these past couple rounds. Team Liquid carrying over so many weapons. Economy bolstered again.
Is that, yeah, this shock dart. Like 100 damage worth there. Perfectly placed. Makes the Bulldog conversion all too easy. Camo. He hears a shot fired off and swings it. Now this is just great fundamentals. I mean, for
โอ้ยิงทุกคนเลยครับ
Season 1 of Attack
Liquid
on Titan, where's the Castasis for these guys? It's all doldrums all the time on this attack side.
Camo has picked up the Bucky and wants to tuck close over towards elbow.
Please, MIBR.
I mean, there could be a drone to clear this out from Verno or a recon. Dizzy, oh, that ult is great.
Okay. Good fast lane to get off the line. Needs to still find a good application for that Bucky, but comes out of that engagement unscathed.
แล้วแฟดตกไปข้างนอกด้วยไอ้เหี้ย
Pretty close to the Thrash. Team Liquid, they have 3 players here
They're
again.
walking this again.
เอากระโดด
Shit, I'm punished for going for the orb.
โอ้เรียบร้อยโบนัสแล้วโบนัสเล่าไอ้เหี้ยเฮ้ย
These trades are just
แล้วทำบิ้งเอ้า
too slow.
เอ้า
MIBR, the swings are getting.
เอาซีเรียว
I'm sorry. How has that timing occurred? Maybe Cortezia could be the hero. MIBR, they want to pivot over towards him, but Bruno's pressing in mid.
เวอร์โนไอ้เหี้ยโอ้โอ้เวอร์โนไอ้เหี้ยโอ้เวอร์โนไอ้สัส เชื่อว่านั่นมันของจริงว่ะ
TL and the B side they hope to defend.
Verno maintaining hero status
30 seconds
for
left.
MIBR.
เหี้ยเวอร์โนเก่งอย่างวะ
It has been him keeping them in this game.
Kid is unreal.
It has been all about him. His clutches, his taps, open facing multiple players. This has to be converted by the duo of Aspas and Cortesia.
Surely you can expect Aspas to step up and land this plane. Into market, swings it, and there it is. Nuts is handled. Chico's are good for this. He's more than up for it. 12 and 8 over the course of the game. But Cortesia and Aspas are doubled up for it. Little swing, little peek. There it is. MIBR get one finally. It's costly, but hey, they're in the game.
เยเวอร์โนเอาให้
Is above water.
You can still hear them screaming from the stage, even being down like this. I'm barely getting this round win. I mean, this is some awkward stuff happening in elbow. Verno, multiple players. Looked like he was even on for the third. With the aim going pretty awry for Nats.
เฮียสุดยอดเวอร์โนตัวแรก
And at that point, Verno's assuming that TL are probably scrambling to deal with, Cortesia, who's gotten in there to Boba. Good intuition. MIBR having to pay dearly for each one of these rounds.
Kiko was able to avoid that recon, so he's still set up with Camel Paranoia into the relay. Ball up to
Oh, no.
Fury as well. More, they want more. Beautiful trap play to find an early advantage. Look at Nats even walking down mid into tiles.
Spike is loose on the wrong side of the
โอ้
one-way.
แนทมาแล้วครับ
Aspas has to find a way to
เรียบ
recover
ร้อ
Nats on that
ย
walk.
And he's just thinking,
Oh,
why is he even
GG
here?
เลย
Panitek timing, shed him with the
ไอ้เหี้ย
jiggle peak.
แม่งเจอผี
Cortesia
ไอ้สัส
wondering how he's ended up in this situation.
เฮ้ย
1 versus 4
ผีแนท
against a team who effectively could be anywhere on the map.
It seems like they are at all times. Nats like a bona fide sleep paralysis demon turning
ใจ
up
ถอดหมด
when
แล้ว
least
ไอ้
expected.
เหี้ย MIBR
Cortesia obviously has a very straightforward objective. Do everything you can to dig your team out of a desperate spot. This cross to the spike location, of course, will be watched by Kiko. Cortesia has a sense for it too. And he doesn't know who's waiting by elbow out in the open. There's no information and surely no hope. But now, Cortesia has allowed TL to get close enough that there's a real risk of him losing this gun.
He does just want to save, but if you look at the cash for TL, they don't really want to hunt right now. They are pretty low. So they'll be content to just win this out and
10 seconds left.
let Cortesia live to see round 18. The rest of the team won't be able to get too much anyhow, with Artzin being pretty low.
Foolish.
All right, good shot.
All right.
Stay alive.
Cortesia lives to see another fire and brimstone dawn here on Sunset, but it's still an ugly situation for this America's number 3 seed.
How cool is this on the replay? Initial contact taken from Camel. That goes into a paranoia with the Hunter's Fury. And then when all of that presence is seen from the defense as to MIBR being in A main, Nats just slowly walking down mid, playing behind that Viper wall that cuts off the sight line to tiles. Aspas on the run, wondering why is
King
this
ที่หายเลย
guy
ปฏิเสธ
here?
Like, does he have
How
ghost mode
is he
toggle?
here?
หน้าเหมือนชาวเลยเมื่อกี้
Is he in a solo lobby? What's
นึกว่าไอ้
going
ชาว
on? And yeah, it's a timeout for MIBR. Their last lifeline potentially of this entire tournament. They are on the precipice of being ejected with a 0-2 scoreline. The unenviable task of having to tangle with Gen G as their first opponent.
ของแบบนี้กลิ่นมันต่างกันเนาะ
But here against TL, this was supposed to be fertile ground for them to mount their comeback and
โอ้ย
fight.
ปัดกลับไปนอนบ้านไปปัดเอ้ย
But it has looked anything but convincing. 6 rounds on Icebox, 6
ขยัน
rounds
ปรับ
so far
เบาะ
on
ชิบ
Sunset.
หาย
And now at risk of losing it all.
ไป
I think
ได้
that
นอน
game
ที่บ้านแล้ว
against Gen G from MIBR really just illustrated the experience difference. You have a whimsical texture, just having so much fun, and this MIBR team completely out of sorts. That set them off on the wrong foot. They haven't been able to win a pistol round. They're still hanging around. Verno still has them in the game. This might be their last chance, though. It's going to be a full buy. Aforementioned Verno with no armor, glass cannon vandal,
เหี้ย
just
โน
a sheriff for
อาบ
Artzin.
อเบอร์โน
Liquid on the precipice of getting their first win here in Toronto with the return of Nats. This could get them to match point. From there, within touching distance of the victory.
Gonna be a rare cameo appearance for Thrash here for Artzin. Has not been able to develop many of those Gecko ultimates this game.
Oh yeah! Monster on
They're going to use it to try and clear into market first and foremost. Paranoia comes out though by TL to slow up MIBR from filtering in behind it, but they're still going to assume this space. 2 players in Boba, 1 anchoring the site for TL.
TL trying to get
โดดไม่พิ้วเท่าไอ้จริงเลย
site right now very quickly playing around Nat's Viper wall. Man should be able to get the spike down.
เทียบยากเลย
Had a little feet, but had to respect the mosh pit at his own. Another thrash usage here, a reprise performance. Trapwire, looks like he gets to the back of the side. Nats is taken out. Kamoki with an outlaw, can't quite connect enough of that damage. And all the ultimates employed by MIBR. This was their Hail Mary round. And it looks like they're set to convert. Aspas with the fadeaway shot on Panatek, and Camo's outlaw has a fair bit of application here, but it's a stacked deck against the EMEA squad. Camo dealt with. MIBR once again come up for air in a flawless round.
Credit to Coach Fraud both times.
เอาไปก่อนเอาไปก่อน
subsequent
เดี๋ยว
round.
ตามไม่ทันนายก็จะบอกว่าโอ้ยมันจ่ายขนาดนั้นให้มันไปเถอะเพื่อนไม่เป็นไร
Market into B. I want to mention again, if we haven't spoken enough about Bruno, feels like every single Hunter's Fury he's had is converted into a kill. Again, kills Kiko there.
Yeah, on Icebox, I mean, they were stunningly set up by our drones. That was Thrash, you know, made use of by twice. That space was cleared for MIBR to get a good foothold in market, and Nats was caught crossing. Round 19 now, TL still a couple away from a series take. MIBR have got to double down.
Something we have seen from Shannon before when he has the from the shadows is he will
มันไม่มีแผนที่แบบว่าใช้เลดเข้าไปเป็นตัวแบบตัวซิ่งอะเห็นปะเพราะว่าอัดปัดทำไม่ได้เว้ยแต่เปเปอร์เล็กมีเปเปอร์เล็กสามารถสั่งให้แบบจริงมึงไปถึงตรงนี้ให้กูได้ไหมเดี๋ยวกูจะจ่ายของไปอย่างนี้อย่างนี้อะไรเงี้ยดูสังเกตการเข้าทำของ MIBR ใช้เลดได้แบบไม่เต็มเหนียวเลย
Yet another rotation of dark cover on that one-way spot. MIBR
คือแม่ง
might look to just
อเล็กมันทำแผนง่ายอะถ้าเป็นเลดอะ
playing up close.
แม่งบอกจริงขอลึกๆขอลึกๆจริงจัดให้
The thing is, the existence of that Bucky is pushing the rest of the team into Liquid, who are stacked up, market and mid.
Nat's got 1 kill in market now, falls back to the B side. TL, how do they get Camo involved with this Bucky? Nat's mid-rounding now. Kiko, what a timing.
แม่งกระโดดอยู่แค่นี้
Perched up on the kiosk, and the 10 spot is taken down, and Nats has an opportunity here to really ruin the day.
30 seconds
แย่
left.
แล้ววะ
Just
อุ้ยแต่เวอร์โนว่ะ
again.
เวอร์โนว่ะ
How much can you ask this
โอ้
guy to do?
ไอ้เหี้ยเจอดับเบิลพีคไป
Kiko shuts him down, and TL are 1 round away from an important match win
อีกที
here.
ครับไม่
And
ไหว
a chance to play off still.
The fundamentals from Liquid there are just lovely. Look at the way that they're repositioning for each other around that site. Kiko throws down the dark cover near jump up to pivot towards stairs. He gets that kill initially, and then Nats is in main. Nats gets traded, but Kiko was already repositioned to play off of him to fight the MIBR team who wanted to get to the market.
Give me one, give me one.
We've just not seen from MIBR when it's counted. It's faster play towards A apparently. Kamen wants to go back to that position.
ผลประกอบการวันนี้ลบ 6K
Maybe a loosened grip on A for TL.
ลบ เท
Fast lane, Panatek that wants to hang around. He knows the
ถ้า
death
คุณได้เลยนะตอน
blow
นี้
is there. The Damocles sword hangs
อย่าไป
above
ยุ่งกับมันนะ
MIBR as they await their fate. Contezia has to get them out of here.
ตอนแรกนั้นรีบไปเนี่ย
They're all theft.
ไป
To
ตาย
see
เฉย
Kiko and Serial lining up for a double face.
จริง
Until the hope of Brazil is vanquished.
ป่วยเหรอเพื่อน
ก่อนจากกันนะครับก็ใครที่ชอบคลิปนะฝากกดไลค์นะครับกด Subscribe นะครับผมก็จะได้เป็นกำลังใจในการทำคลิปต่อๆไปนะครับขอบคุณมากครับ